y'all. Fuzzy Biker here. We are in the magic back room of Baxter Cycle in the mighty metropolis of Marnie, Iowa. And check out this absolutely beautiful motorcycle I've got today. They got this in a couple weeks ago and I just fell in love with it. It's a Vincent Rapide. It says 1950 Vincent Rapide. It's got a fresh rebuild on it. A guy named I got my list right here, Mike White in Canada. He rebuilt this. Apparently he's an expert at this kind of thing. And it's got about 100 miles on the rebuild. Now if you look the whole bike over, every little detail seems to be just about perfect, you know, as far as quality and shape, and you know, everything's shiny and everything's just a fabulous thing. This is what they call an atypical British motorcycle. These are British motorcycles. They all have two cylinders. They all have, you know, one cylinder, two cylinders. They're all parallel twins, or, you know, big single up and downies. And this is a V-twin, of course. I can't remember. I think it's 50 or 52 degrees, air cooled. Just a great big beautiful thing. Lug of a motor, produced about 50-55 horsepower, about as much torque, about the fastest thing on wheels made at the time, back in the you know, back in the 40s and 50s. Just a real beautiful thing. The sign over yonder says a cruising speed of 100 miles an hour and a top speed of over 125 or about 125. Now this Rapide has, I think I mentioned already, has shadow pistons in it, so it's got a little bit higher compression, and should give it a little more oomph. Now we would take it for a ride. It's about 30, no, it's not even 30, it's about 20 degrees out today, so we're hoping for a warm day. If we get a warm day before this thing sells, we'll take it out for a spin. So pray for warm weather. So you know, look at just the quality of this motorcycle overall. You know, every little detail is just fabulous. Kickstart, there's no electric start on this one. It's got a pair of Amal carburetors. Now these are concentrics. Did not come with concentrics, but that's what it's got now. It's got a kind of a monoshock rear end. Now you're going to say, well, it looks like two shocks. These are enclosed springs here, and in the middle is a Coney shock. At least it came with one originally. Just a gorgeous rear end. This whole rear end is separate, bolts to the back of the bike. There's a big oil tank underneath here, underneath this gas tank, and then this whole front end bolts to the top of the bike, which I think is part of the oil tank actually. This is called a hydraulic front end. Check that out. Got a little hydraulic shock in the middle there. When you go down the road, as you hit bumps, the speedometer bumps up and down, so does the headlight. Really neat. Now check out the brakes on this. It's got dual drum brakes in the front. Now these are finned drum brakes. Look at that. They got little fins on them. And when you actuate the brake lever, so you pull on this, here's the lever, the cord right here. This side works as normal, pulls up on the lever. Now there's a wishbone here, comes over here to this side. Now watch how this side works. Pulls this up, and this side works on that side. And this is your adjuster for this side. This is your adjuster for that side. They've also chromed the edges of this one. I don't think they came like that. Very neat. This is the speedo drive right here. Check that out. These are kind of these are part of the hydraulic system. Look at this little sticker back in here. Isn't that neat? Just gorgeous. The tax stamp right there. Big old speedo drive right there, back into the back of this massive 5-inch speedometer. This one's in miles per hour. The last one we looked at had it in kilometers an hour. This is a choke for each carburetor. I think one of these would be a kill switch, the other one would be a horn. Not sure which one's which. There's a clutch right here. Down here would be a compression, decompression lever to pull the compression, you know, to kill the engine or to help you when you're going to kick start it. Brake, front brake, of course. Fuel dampener right there. This one's got an end mirror on this side. This is your fuel on this side. This actually does not go into the tank. This goes into another oil tank underneath right there. Just check out that paint. Just glistening. Perfect. Beautiful gold stripe. Just gorgeous detail. Absolutely gorgeous detail. Jumping down here to the engine, look at all those fins. Just loads of fins. External oil lines. This is where you adjust your valves. They have short push rods. They wanted the cams up as high as possible so they have short push rods. There's some advantage to that. I don't know what the advantage is, but these are return lines for the oil. One's probably a return line, one's probably a pressure line. Big long Kickstarter. Check that out. Check how long that is. Isn't that something? Gear indicator right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know what the reason was for having that, but it's there. This is adjustable up and down, and then you can adjust where this goes also. Sweeping back here to this end, look at this. So the seat, this whole seat, is attached right here, and attaches to the swing arm here. This kind of rotates right here. You can adjust the tension on that with this. So as the bike goes down the road, this kind of does this. Now when I rode one of these, I could not tell that it was moving at all like that, but you know, kind of a neat system, lightweight. One of the reasons these bikes are so fast. I want to point out the seat real quick. So it looks like a rather large seat. When I rode one of these, the seat was just like this, and it was not a large seat. It's actually quite a small seat. You don't feel like there's a lot of place to go on it. There is a little drawer underneath here, and this one's actually lockable. It's a toolkit drawer. This one's had a key put in it so it won't vibrate loose, or so you can lock it. Just a gorgeous thing, isn't it? Beautiful chrome. The chrome is just perfect on this bike. Look at the back end here. This is a center stand for the back. If you want to, that came with the bike. And there's also little wing stands on the front here on both sides. One here and one on the other side. And this bike has had the center stand kit added. There's an aftermarket center stand kit that's been added. Something else about this bike on the rear end, it's got the extra sprocket. So if you wanted higher gearing or lower gearing, whichever, you would turn the wheel around. If you wanted higher gearing, you put the that would be the smaller sprocket in the back on this side. If you wanted higher gearing, lower gearing, you'd put the larger sprocket on this side. Isn't that neat? Again, dual drums on the back, so a drum on this side and a drum on this side, and they're also finned. Just a beautiful thing, isn't it? Look at that. Here's the brake pedal. I love these little mechanical brakes. So it runs up here to a cable. Cable runs up here that moves. Watch. There's kind of it runs down here to a lever. The lever jumps back here to a shaft, goes up and across. That shaft runs the other brake on that side. And then there's a mechanical rod that goes to each brake. Probably did a poor job of explaining that, but that's how it works. Chain adjuster here. You can take the back tire off with no tools using this. So if you wanted to change the gearing or had to repair a tire, you could do that. Isn't that just beautiful? Battery right there. Fuel shut off, the other carburetor. Just a gorgeous thing. I can't remember what's underneath here. I think the ignition's underneath. Yeah, that's part of the ignition right there. Fabulous, isn't it? Just fabulous. Let's see what the list of things here are. It says fin brake drums, shadow pistons, that means higher compression, the 5-inch speedo, stainless steel fenders, oh okay, front and rear, stainless spokes, aftermarket center stand, locking tool tray, has been ridden about 100 miles since the restoration. This bike's been in a couple shows and it got best of show every time, so it's a real beauty. And I'll tell you, it really is a beauty. The last one that we looked at, Everett, my good buddy Everett bought it, and that thing was stellar. This one is right up there with that. Maybe a little shinier. Sorry, Everett. What a gorgeous, gorgeous piece of machinery. I just love looking at these things. There's so many details that are atypical to motorcycles on these things. You know, the reason these things were so fast is because the person that designed it, I can't think of his name right now, he just, you know, he was an atypical thinker. He did things differently. And he thought out of the box for sure. You know, like this whole front end, for instance. Like the way the whole, you know, the engine and the oil tank is one piece. You know, this whole front end connects to that. The whole back end connects to the engine down here and then connects up here to the that back of that oil tank. This whole rear end moves, you know, less weight, good power. The sign over there says about 450 pounds. That'd be a little over 200, about 204 kilograms. Pretty darn nifty for a bike in 1950. You twist this up, you can get the back fender open up so you can, if you had to change a tire or something, do your work. I don't want to stop looking at it. We will do our best to get a ride on it if possible. Miller gauge for the ammeter right there. I wonder who made the big gauge here. I can't read. Smith. It is a Smith gauge. There is a guy down the road who rebuilds Smith gauges. He'll do everything. He can do the guts, the You can put a new face on them, new glass. He can reprint faces for it. He has a crimper, so he can recrimp the cases. He can do everything. I'll put his website above right now. Look at all these little things. This must be a high-low. Maybe that's the horn. Maybe that's a kill switch. I'm not sure. It's a magneto bike. I'm sure of that. I think it is anyway. That looks like a generator. And I think I already decided that these are plug wires here. I'm not sure. I really don't know. But I know it's a gorgeous thing. So where's the oil? I think I already mentioned it's in that little center section. Dry sump engine, of course. What a beautiful, beautiful thing. Everything is shiny. You know, everything is just right. Oh, look at this air pump for the tires, made in England. I like it. I like it a lot. The price tag for this hot rod is here somewhere. This is at Baxter Cycle in the mighty metropolis of Marnie, Iowa. That's their website right there. If you're interested in that, get a hold of Randy. He can help you out. That's quite a price tag, isn't it? These usually sell right away. I'm amazed it's still here, honestly. What does this say? Conway Motors. My eyesight just isn't good enough to read that anymore. Fabulous machine. If y'all are interested in a new or used Royal Enfield Triumph Classic British bike like this one, or like any of these, get yourself over here to Baxter Cycle in the mighty metropolis of Marnie. They got parts, gear, accessory, doodads. Look at all this stuff. They are the largest vintage British parts supplier in North America. They've got warehouses full of parts and motorcycles, so get a hold of these guys. Make sure you tell them Fuzzy Biker sent you. Now, it's a beautiful day out, but it's too cold to go riding. So I think I'm going to wrap it up and head home. Get a hot cup of coffee or something. Life is good. Get out and ride if you can, my friends. Wahoo!
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Wahoo! Wahoo!
Oh, look at the detail in there.
Oh yeah, look at that. I wonder if you can see that better from the other side. Is it in here?